tiroir. Cause my hitters gon' die, don't die. The real hitters gon' shine, and my people gon' rise. Cause we're born to win, yeah. I ain't saying
how the hell do I not have the deal? I swear this thing is a real dog. I play it fan off, the cowards that they can't feel. The wife try to console me like it's coming, baby, chill. She don't understand, I'm the only one that's real. I remember the 3rd grade, them kids, they had waves. I had them BDBDs, you know that's Zimbabwe grade. So they do shades and your boy hit the stage, press play, and all the chicks was like, yeah. While boys was moving bricks, I was moving chips, yeah. If she gave me calculus, gave her a mouthful of it. Heat rose to this thing, boy, I bet on myself.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Y'all already know. I gave you the story yesterday. Same outfit, only because we had a lot of guests and we wanted to break it out because I really wanted folks to be able to have the time to tell their story. So Caleb is joining me today from Uplift Investment Group. I said it right?
Yes. Yeah,
okay, there we go. Caleb is here today to tell us more about what he's doing to, provide some anchors for affordable home ownership and why he's connected and committed to this work. And of course, I'm excited to be able to uplift his story, but it's the top of the show, so it's a great time for you to tag and share the stream right here. That's right. Go ahead and tag and share this stream with folks you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on The Day with Trae. And if you cannot watch us, we do have you covered because you can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. Y'all will find me on Google, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Apple Music. I don't know if we're on Bandcamp. Somebody said that to me, but I don't know. But that's maybe another one that you love to listen to different things on. But whichever one is your favorite, over 200 plus platforms. Y'all can find us on all of those by searching Converge Media Network and The Day with Trae. Shout out to all of y'all because folks are tapping in with me like, oh, just learned about you, didn't know you existed. We're seeing certain messages come through because y'all are sharing. So continue to share. And if folks that you're sharing with are not tapping in yet, keep sharing it with them. Eventually they'll click the link and they'll be like, what's going on here? But for me, I just want to thank y'all because this has really been a growth effort for all of us together, a collective way of utilizing media to not just showcase that Black media matters, but to showcase the fact that there are so many stories out there that do not get a platform to tell their stories. They don't, major news outlets are covering news. And one of the things that we realized here at Converge Media was that we wanted to be in our community telling these amazing stories and also providing opportunities for major artists who come here to stop in a Black media and tell us what's going on and how their concert is going to benefit the masses. So, this for me is a work of love, but it's also, I do this because I understand the importance of it, y'all. And when I talk about creating impact media, y'all are a part of that journey for me and with me. So thank you so much for embracing me, all of my quirkiness and all of the things that I bring. But I'm also so inspired by all of you and the stories that you share with me about how this show and this platform and me as a media personality and talk show host is inspiring to all of you. Impact media for me means so much more when I think about the future of these stories being there for folks to look at 50, 100 years from now, whatever. They can see what Converge Media was doing at this time because we are creating videos that can live in perpetuity beyond us and also really provide inspiration for young media professionals to see themselves in the work. So there's so many different layers of why this work is important. And I just wanted to take some time to thank you all for being on this amazing journey with me. And I cannot believe that next month in June, we're going to be celebrating a year of The Day with Trae, our first year. And so that's what's had me reflecting right now as I think about all of the amazing folks who have emailed, who have reached out, DM'd me, whatever it is. Y'all can find me at Trae Holiday on Instagram. But for those of you who have been following this journey with me, and for those of you who are just joining us, thank you so much for your dedication to uplifting The Day with Trae and Converge Media and being a part of us being able to be in the history books as creating the impact media that we were looking to create from day one. So thank you so much for that. Of course, after this short break, y'all, I get to chop it up because Caleb is in the building, and we get to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart. Many of y'all have been on this journey with me, and for those of you who are just joining, you know, this, for me, home ownership is a key marker in terms of what it looks like for us to balance the scales of all of this disparity in the racial wealth divide. So I get to chop it up with Caleb right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
COVID-19 hurt my income, my health, and my family. We were about to lose our home when we heard we might be eligible for homeowner assistance funds from the government. We called 1-877-894-HOME, and a housing counselor stepped in. They talked to our lender and saved our home. Because falling on hard times does not have to mean losing your home. Federal funding details at washingtonhaf.org.
Basically, fam, believe in giving. Like, we have to be willing to give more, and people seem to always think giving means money, but nah, bro. It's like you can give time, you can give understanding, you can give access, you can give a listening ear and an open heart. You can give and share your God-given gifts and talents, but you just got to give.
What's up, everybody? You know, me and Besa, my girl, we had to pull up to Market Street Shoes once again, y'all.
And you know, we do this every season. We have to get the new shoes, the new boots, and this time I even got a coat.
Yeah, no, you did walk in without a coat.
I really
I'm glad
did.
you found one. But their boots were on point.
Yes, the boots, the bags. I even grabbed a flannel.
Yeah, you did. You know, and I was able to get some hats and everything. I was really impressed.
And you know, I was impressed because, of course, I got those white boots that you guys see me wearing everywhere these days.
Yeah, no, I look at your white boots and I'm like, darn it, they only have one pair. Me and Besa wear the same size. Of course, every time we walk out with several bags in hand.
Several bags and sometimes even a backpack, you guys. Make sure you check out Market Street Shoes.
Yeah, please check them out. Where they go, Besa?
Ooh, 2232 Northwest Market Street, Seattle, Washington.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now is Caleb from Uplift Investment Group. What's up, Caleb?
How you doing?
Hey, good to finally have you on. Great to have you here. Thanks for being here in the Black Media Matters studios. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I heard your name several times because I'm in that space of home ownership and affordable homes and affordable housing. And your name came up several times. And Tammy Morales mentioned some work that you were doing, but I really am excited to learn more about you before we talk about the investments you're making. Tell us a bit about your story and what got you to where you are today to be doing this particular work, Caleb.
Sure. I can do that. So how did it start? Back in 1987. It's like, really, I got into real estate. My mom really pushed me into real estate. She told me to read a book when I was younger, and it was a book by Robert Kiyosaki's Retire Young, Retire Rich, and it just talked about being financially free and that it is possible, you know? And so at 17, when I got out of college, my goal was really just to invest in real estate and create a life that I wanted to live, you know, do things that were meaningful. When a few things happened, I got to my goal a lot faster than I thought I would. At 28, I owned 5 properties. And so a lot of the things that I was going through at that time was just like, okay, what's next? You know, you did that, like, what's next? Well, I started investing in other places. It was hard to leave Seattle because Seattle's my home. I liked being here. I'm born and raised in Seattle, so Seattle. Like, my son's name is Griffey. I'm so Seattle, right? But I started investing in other places, Columbus, Ohio, to be specific. And I came back and I told my fraternity brothers about it. I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And I told my fraternity brothers about it, and they were like, oh, can you help us invest? And I was like, yeah, sure. You know, I'm an open book. Let's talk about it. I can tell you about IRR and cash on cash return. I can help you. I can tell you where to look for properties. And they were like, that's a lot of information. how about you just take some money and invest it for me? And I was like, absolutely not. You know what I mean? I was like, that's not my lane. I can help you, but I'm not going to do that, right? And so my profile at the time we talked for about an hour and a half later, and he convinced me to undergo this assignment. And what he did was, he told me one sentence, I never forget it, and he was like, one of our cardinal principles is uplift. And if you understand something that can help the community and you're not doing everything in your power to do that, then you're doing a disservice to yourself and the community. So it worked. And so with that, Uplift Investment Group was born, and we've been going and helping the community in any way we can since our inception in 2018.
Well, this is really intriguing to me because I'm someone who understands how we work to create generational wealth, and yet at the same time, I don't always have the time for it. Mm-hmm. Tell us more about how Uplift Investment Group is kind of bringing these opportunities to those like your frat brothers who may not want to learn all the things you know, but want to really like invest in the knowledge you already have.
Yeah, so since 2018, the vision has morphed a little bit, but essentially how we do it is we have events and we have coaching. So anybody who wants to understand about, how to get into real estate, there's a lot of gurus out there who will tell you, buy a house with zero down, like things like that, but they don't really go into like the details on like, you do have to have some money when you start, right? Or you do have to spend a lot of time finding a deal where you don't have money. And everybody's specific case is so different. It takes time to really understand what you can offer, what you can do, and to be like, okay, this is the correct lane for you, whether that is, just investing, whether that is working with community members, getting into a REIT. There's different things that they can do, but it takes somebody who knows it and who's done it to explain what you can do in real estate.
Sorry, y'all, I'm dropping stuff, but that right there is so needed, because I think oftentimes people don't dip their toes into this, Caleb, because it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot to navigate. And it's like, okay, well, do I want to go back to school and get my BA for real estate? Like, what does that look like? And navigating the litany of opportunities with get-rich-quick schemes. And I done been in hotel ballrooms more than I can count about, flipping houses, zero down, using real estate as a way to build wealth. But I love this approach because you're talking about a more personalized approach, and also someone that people can identify as being a trusted source in community. When you talk about the values of your fraternity and how you're utilizing one of those key core values to anchor yourself in the investment world, that right there is already something that brings about a level of trust, right? Because it's like, this is not just about you. This is also about something that you've pledged your life to as well, in terms of the knowledge that you're bringing to community. How have you been experiencing people receiving the resources that y'all provide?
It's been interesting. It's almost easier to sell people things than to give things away for free. But I have a real childhood trauma with trying to sell people help. So I think that the community that I'm serving is obviously the Black community, and there's been a lot of bait and switch that's happened in our community, and so people are very fearful, which they should be, you know what I mean? But I think that if we just keep persevering, keep showing that we're really here for the community, that we really want to kill this wealth gap, which I call an ownership gap, right? If we keep just showing up, keep showing people that we're really here for the community, there's going to be a breakthrough.
Yeah, that dedication means something, but it also is great to know that this isn't, I'll be honest, like that you're not here to say, this is how I'm making money.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's something very, like, I wasn't traumatized by trying to sell help, but, or I don't have any major experience with it, but I will say that that right there becomes another barrier
Yeah.
for folks. And if I don't have the money to pay you for your expertise, then I'm not going to get the expertise. And then that means I'm not going to get what I need in order to make a change for my family. So it creates a real domino effect that we experience far too often in Black communities, that is then the burden of the family that has to carry that, right? And so I really appreciate your strategy, because you're like, look, I'm good on my real estate investments, do what they do, right?
Yeah.
And that I think for me, as someone who I'm like, I need to talk with you more about utilizing your services, because I've been talking to my family about how real estate and insurance have been two major pillars when it comes to generational wealth creation. And so a lot of this is like, I can understand how probably you and your team are jumping through hurdles just to get people to understand that facet alone, and that this is something that's beneficial for them. But in terms of your approach, you talk about that dedication and being there. What are some of the unique traits to how you really approach these kinds of conversations with folks who are having a hard time really absorbing what you're working to share with them?
So a lot of and I'm let me back up. With real estate, I've been doing it for 12 years. I understand it really well, and I'm good at it. I can tell people about how to invest. I can tell them about where to put their money at, taxes, all that. With community outreach, I'm very new to it. Yeah. And so handling those conversations with I've noticed that there's a balance between listening and understanding specific needs. With some of the homeowners that we're working with, it's a lot of different needs. Some have descendants that they want to pass the asset down to. Some don't. Some want to stay in Seattle. Some are older and want to move to Texas. There's a bunch of different specific factors to consider. So there's a balance between me listening and understanding that, but also me letting them know, hey, this is what, from my experience, this is what you should do. Here are your options. Here are your best 3 options. That if I were your grandchild, which that's how I deal with every single person I'm with, like their family. If I was your family, this is what I would tell you to do. So that's how I communicate, and it's been working so far. Yeah.
Well, I think that is a real void you're feeling, Caleb, because years ago, as we were working to figure out, well, how do we disrupt gentrification? It's not just about establishing entities that can then utilize an asset-based creation model like Africatown Community Land Trust, for instance, but it's also being able to partner with folks like yourself who not only have the knowledge but are willing to really be there when you have a person who's held onto their property as long as they think they can, or who is facing like, oh man, the taxes now are insurmountable for my family. We're going to be gentrified, but we don't want to be. What does it look like for us? And particularly when we think about folks being able to utilize some of the equity in their homes, there's been a lot of, reverse mortgages and things that have not served our community well. And so you do have to have a real understanding and knowledge of that in order to service the community the way that they need to. So I really appreciate this. In terms of some of the things you're really excited for and that you're looking to do in community, tell us a bit about that. Like, you think about it 5 years from now, Uplift Investment Group, like what kind of things are really exciting you in terms of the growth of what you're bringing to community?
Great question. So I'll answer in 2 parts. One, I'll tell you about what we're doing right now, and then I'll also tell you about how I see us in 5 years and my dream for 5 years. So the 2 big things that we're doing right now is the resource equity program that is enabled by the city of Seattle, and also we are creating a fund called the Pryland Partnership Fund. And I'll go into the resource equity event first. And so that's an event where some homeowners, all they need is education, right? Generational wealth, I break it down into 2 components. One is the asset, which is great, but it's not the end-all, be-all. The second part is the education and making sure that education is passed down through the generations, right? And so the resource equity event makes sure that we're getting that information into as many people's minds as possible and instructing them, hey, spread the word. One of the great philosophers of our time said, conversation rules the nation, right? And so if we can change that conversation, then, we can accomplish great things. And so how the program works is we have events where we have mission-aligned professionals who come to the events, architects, structural engineers, designers, and not just with real estate, but we also have lawyers in case you need to get a trust or a will, and estate planners. And so they're at the events, and you have free access to ask them questions about your specific situation. What is the best thing for me, right? And so that's at the events. And then we also, with that program, have one-on-one coaching where you can tap in with us. We can schedule a time to sit down. Sometimes it's one meeting. Sometimes it can go for months, where we tell you, okay, this is your situation. Looking to trust, looking to do an adadu. Maybe you just need to renovate your basement and get some extra income coming in, or you have a child that you're still taking care of, but you need your space. We can kind of work with your specific situation with our coaching. And then we also have some grant money available to actually give to the community so that they can maybe go a little bit further with those resources. Maybe you know what you can do with your property, but you need actual architectural drawings. And it's going a little bit further than what our professionals can offer. We can give you some grant money so that you can actually get design, so that you can build your own home. So we have those 3 services for the resource equity event. The other thing is the Prideland Partnership Fund, and that fund is created because sometimes information just isn't enough. Sometimes you need money. There's a thing in banking that I hate. It's called loan to cost, right? And so, for instance, how it works is this. If you own your house free and clear, right, and there's other things around it, but if you own your house free and clear and you can build and create $10 million of townhomes, but it'll cost you $2 million to build or $4 million to build, probably $4 million. The bank won't give you that money. They only give you 65% of that. So even though you own your house free and clear, you still have to come up with $1.6 million, right? There's very little risk on the bank side, but since there's that loan to cost, they'll always use that. And so what we do with the Prideland Partnership Fund is we act as like a bridge loan, or like that little bit of money that separates you from creating tremendous generational wealth. And so we come in with the real estate development knowledge, we come in with financing, and we make sure that we can pass down more generational wealth to you than if you would have just sold it. Again, we are an ownership-based company. Like I said, it's not a wealth gap, it's an ownership gap. And so our main thing is we want to make sure that the ownership of that property passes down. Not just to you, not just to your kids, your grandkids, it goes. So that's the 2 things that we are working on. And to answer your question about 5 years, I was just talking with somebody about this, and I think that once people see that you can partner with the community, you don't have to just try and finesse people out of their houses. You can actually work with them. I hope that some of these big boys, the developers who are way more established than me and who have, hundreds of millions of dollars, I hope they put me out of business. I hope that their new model is that they can no longer buy our property and they have to work with us to develop our property. And I hope we are Uplift Investment Group. We're just doing coaching or something else, or just teaching people how to invest. So that's my goal.
I am working to contain my pure joy right now. I'm tearing up because you're like a godsend for this time, Caleb, and it's so necessary what you're doing. And I'm sorry, I'm verklempt because I'm just listening to this and I'm like, oh my God, this is what, I've been in the trenches, bruh. I've been there. I've talked to homeowners. Folks have called me, hey, they got to notice that, we didn't know what to do because I was dealing with, affordable development. And because we were in community, people just knew us as a resource, but we weren't this resource that you are offering. We weren't that. And we were like, man, we need to find a way to get people what they need. And yet we also got to focus on this development because it's going to take us 3 years to build this building that we started, just talking to community about what they wanted to see. So the development process is so long that things were getting lost through the cracks. They were falling through the cracks. And so I can't wait to actually build more with you, to be honest, because I get really excited about this. That's why I was like, oh my God, I'm going to burst into tears, because I get really excited about the opportunities for us to do something with our energy, our life force right now that'll change the trajectory of this ownership gap. I love how you called it an ownership gap. I'm always thinking about income inequality and wealth, because wealth can mean a lot of different things. So I see it as that, but I appreciate you adding this ownership piece to it. Caleb, anything you ever need from me, I promise you have it. Like when it comes to community connection, we'll talk more about this, but I'm so encouraged. I'm so encouraged by what you offer. You said DADU, and people may not know that that's a detached accessory dwelling unit, which means that folks could have like a tiny home in their big backyard, right? They could create a mother-in-law style unit. It's another additional living unit that you can build on your property that will give you rental income, right? So it'll help to get you some type of income on the property you already have. Caleb, you just dropped so many gems here, brother, and I'm just so grateful to be connected and to be able to begin to build with you, because I have I have so many ideas about what you're doing and how important it is right now in this time. And thank you so much. If folks are looking to get connected, looking to come to one of these resource events, tell us how they follow you, how they stay connected to the commitment that you're bringing out here in the community. Look in that camera right closest to me and let them know.
So you can tap in at Official Uplift IG. That's us on Instagram. We also have a website, www.upliftig.com. There's going to be a flyer, and there's a QR code there. You can tap in with us there. But we're going to be having these events. We're going to be doing this service all year, hopefully next year as well. We're going to do it as long as we have the funding to do it, and we're going to be giving out money as long as we can do it, right? It's my first time doing this. I'm not really used to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the event, I'll talk about the event. The event is going to be at Goodwill Church this Saturday, the 29th, and it'll be from 2 to 4. We'll be having them all year. We'll be having them in different areas. We want to hit a lot of the redlined areas that were traditionally redlined. So we'll be in the Central District, we'll be in the South End, we'll be in West Seattle, all the places where you needed to be from to go there when we were kids. So we'll be in all those places providing this information to as many homeowners as we can. Please tap in. It's a free resource. I'm gonna say the story. I was talking to somebody outside of Safeway when I was canvassing, and I was telling him it was free, and he was like, nothing in life is free. And I was like, you're right, but this is of great value, because the only thing you have to do is pay attention, and we're going to be giving you as much information as you can handle, right? As much as we can. That's our goal. So it's a free event. Just have to pay attention. And yeah, you can tap in with us.
Wow. Caleb, thank you. Thank you for not being selfish with your knowledge, for bringing it into this community pot. It makes all of us greater when we do that. So thank you so much. I'm completely inspired and encouraged by your work.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for joining me. Wow, y'all. Y'all know I be having all the words, and I don't, but I'll get to wrap up all of this beautiful encouragement right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
COVID-19 hurt my income, my health, and my family. We were about to lose our home when we heard we might be eligible for homeowner assistance funds from the government. We called 1-877-894-HOME, and a housing counselor stepped in. They talked to our lender and saved our home. Because falling on hard times does not have to mean losing your home. Federal funding details at washingtonhaf.org.
What's up, everybody? Me and Besa, my girl, we had to pull up to Market Street Shoes once again, y'all.
And we do this every season. We have to get the new shoes, the new boots, and this time I even got a coat.
Yeah, no, you did walk in without a coat.
I really
I'm glad you found one. But their boots were on point.
Yes, the boots the bags. I even grabbed a flannel.
Yeah, you did. You know, and I was able to get some hats and everything. I was really impressed.
And you know I was impressed because, of course, I got those white boots that you guys see me wearing everywhere these days.
Yeah, no, I look at your white boots and I'm like, darn it, they only have one pair. Me and Basic wear the same size. Of course, every time we walk out with several bags in hand.
Several bags and sometimes even a backpack, you guys. Make sure you check out Market Street Shoes.
Yeah, please check them out. Where they go, Basa?
Ooh, 2232 Northwest Market Street, Seattle, Washington.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. What a great episode today with Caleb and Uplift Investment Group. It is so necessary, and I have so much to say about this, but I will say that inspiration is key, because inspiration oftentimes is the antithesis to apathy, right? And we need to be engaged and care about our communities in order for us to sometimes bring our brilliance out, as Caleb has done. So I'm beyond inspired, y'all. I am. I'm beyond inspired to bring you this episode today and to be here with Caleb and the work that he's doing. Make sure y'all be beyond inspired as well, so that you can find that thing you need to do to bring your brilliance out to the world, so we can all benefit from it, as we'll be doing with Caleb's amazing brilliance. For me, y'all, until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Peace.